I expected more from you, right? That was a really stupid question, right? And it doesn't even deserve an answer. So try again next time.
The mainstream media tried to trap Nigel Farage with gotcha questions, and he just laughed in their faces. You're about to see a masterclass in handling a hostile press. Farage doesn't get angry. He mocks them, explicitly calling their questions stupid and batting away their smears with a smile. It is absolute comedy. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the like and subscribe button, and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Now, let's watch Nigel Farage have the time of his life.
Mrs. Zahawi, on this point about COVID vaccines, I hear the point about free speech, but the doctor previously mentioned told Reform's conference that the vaccines that you rolled out may have caused the King's cancer. And he was described by David Bull as someone who worked with him to write Reform's health policy. So do you reject those views? And if they have shaped Reform's health policy, will you try to change it?
I think you'll find David Bull actually spoke about vaccines on Friday night at our event that we held down at the Excel Centre with just shy of 3,000 people launching our London campaign. And I think you'll find, if you look at what Dr. David Bull, our chairman, said, how proud he was of the work, actually for centuries, that London had done and led the way in with vaccines. And as Nadim said previously, you know, we get all sorts of speakers from all over the world, some of whom have different opinions.
Can I just come in? Tony,
please.
I expected more from you, right? That was a really stupid question, right? And it doesn't even deserve an answer. So try again next time.
Tim Sally, Daily T. Are you a one-man band? Joke!
Clearly,
joke!
Clearly.
Right. You're clearly not. There's a lot of people in this band, I can see that. A Conservative spokesman has just said, Reform is fast becoming the party of has-been politicians looking for their next gravy train. So my first question, Nadim, are you a has-been politician? And Nigel, is there any Tory politician you won't take? What is your bar? How do you decide who to say yes to and who to say no to? And have you ever said no?
No, that is a very good question. Have we said no to people? Yes, we have. Yes, we. Well, there we are. I'm not going to tell you that. I might, for goodness' sake. I mean, that's an even more stupid question.
David Lynch from PA. Yeah, just wanted to ask you about something that appeared in the Sunday Times over the weekend. There was reporting in that newspaper citing a source close to the Trump administration, saying that Trump has totally lost faith with Farage and doesn't believe he is for real. Are you for real?
Oh, I'm for real. Don't worry about that. As far as Trump losing faith in me, don't know. I mean, I saw him in October. I sat with him in November at Mar-a-Lago and chatted about a few things. He's always been enormously supportive of me. I'm supportive of him. We don't see eye to eye on every issue. And as Nadim says, if I don't see eye to eye, I tell him I don't see eye to eye. I'm not frightened of saying to people what I think. Do you know what? Sometimes journalists write things that may not necessarily be wholly true.
I wanted to answer that. And also tell me, what would you say to colleagues that you worked with in the Conservative government during the pandemic who might feel a little betrayed today? And Mr. Farage, if I may as well, in 2022, when Nadim Zahawi was appointed Chancellor, you said, I thought Zahawi had principles, but tonight we learned all he's interested in is climbing that greasy pole. Are you now greasing that pole for your new colleague?
If you look at the clip, you will see that I profess to be a fan.
You did?
Of the deal. I very publicly said I'm a big supporter of this guy. And there was a period of time when I thought, perhaps, if he became the leader of the Conservative Party, things might start to look a little different. So I was a fan, openly, publicly professed fan. I was disappointed that he decided to join what I saw as a failing government at that moment in time. But I've always been a fan of his.
Rob, I think you walked into that one, but...
Hi there. Question, first of all, for Mr. Farage. Last week, you said you were very troubled by what was going on X. You seem to be moving to a position that child porn on demand is just something we're going to have to live with. Don't you think that your position on this would carry more weight if you and your MPs weren't taking money from the app that's offering the child porn on demand?
Nice try.
Hiya, thank you very much. there's quite a long history of you two having pops at each other, which has given us some few bits to get our teeth into. On another occasion in 2015, Mr. Zahawi, you likened Mr. Farage to Goebbels. The context of that was that...
Could have been worse then, couldn't it?
Was that at the time, Mr. Farage, you were proposing ripping up legislation to prevent discrimination on the grounds of ethnicity and nationality in the workplace. You said that it was ludicrous that employers can't differentiate between British and Polish workers at the time. Mr. Zahawi, you responded to that by saying it was a remark Goebbels would be proud of. You also described it as deeply racist. My question to you is, Reform now is proposing to do something similar in relation to welfare, in that qualification would be on the basis of nationality. Are you now, based on your previous position, comfortable with that? And how do you square that circle?
2015 was a general election campaign. All sorts of things get said and done in the heat of battle in general election campaigns, but I don't in any way row back from the comments I made then. I do think we should actually put British workers first. I genuinely do. 2 more questions. Ben Quinn from The Guardian.
Thank you. Mr. Zahawi, does this defection come with a personal donation from you to Reform? And you mentioned Shamima Begum in your remarks at the beginning. I think Mr. Farage surprised a lot of people last year, suggesting that she could be allowed to come back to the UK. Are you on the same page? And lastly, we're now at 34 people who've levelled accusations of anti-Semitism and racism. Can they all be dismissed as fantasists or political operators? 34 people, and that's to both of you, please. Thank you.
You know, even the quotes that have been read out today of things that Nadim might have said about me in the 2015 general election campaign just shows you that actually these accusations of racism, isms of all kinds, get thrown around every single day. In fact, they get thrown around so much that, frankly, they almost become meaningless, I'm afraid.
But on Shamima Begum, the moment someone decides that they'll pledge their allegiance and loyalty to a different state, the Islamic State, they forfeit the right, in my view, of being British. And I think I would certainly want to be in a government that will welcome Shamima Begum back, and I'm sure, I hope my then Prime Minister would work very hard to make sure that that never happens. On the racism issue, I dealt with it at the beginning. I don't think I'd be sitting here, or Nigel would be sitting with me, if I thought, or he thought, there was an iota of racism. Although, in preparation for this morning, I thought I'd also look up, Nigel, everything that's been labelled racist in our country. Coffee has been labelled racist. Picnics have been labelled racist.
The Traitors programme, that's racist.
Electricity,
according to The Guardian,
has been labelled racist. And mathematics has been labelled racist.
Yeah.
This is a joke.
Yeah.
The Times reported this morning that the Home Affairs Select Committee is preparing to call for the Home Secretary to sack Craig Guildford, Chief Constable of West Midlands Police Force, over the decision to ban away fans from the Maccabi Tel Aviv match against Aston Villa last year. Farage, you've called for him to go in the past, but how long do you give Shabana Mahmood to sack him?
The answer to your first question is no. And I'm amazed.
I mean, you almost have to feel sorry for them, don't you? Almost. What you just saw there is the difference between a career politician and a disruptor. When the journalist from the Telegraph asked if he was a has-been, or when Sky News tried to use his own quotes against him, they expected him to stutter. They expected him to be afraid of bad headlines. Instead, he batted them away like a fly. The moment where he just looked at the reporter and said, "Nice try," that wasn't anger, that was total dismissal. He knows the game they're playing, and he refuses to play along. And the ending there, listing off how the media calls coffee and picnics racist, that is how you disarm these people. You don't argue with their logic, you expose how ridiculous they are. The media is desperate to paint him as a villain, but as long as he keeps treating their gotcha questions as a joke, he wins every single time. But what do you think? Was Nigel too harsh calling the questions stupid, or is it about the time someone spoke to these journalists like that? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the like and subscribe button, and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Thanks for watching.